Welcome to Voice Bootcamp, a global name in unified communication. Hello, my name is Faisal Khan, CEO and founder of voicebootcamp.com. In this particular video, I'm going to show you how to install Cisco Finesse server and prepare the DNS to support Finesse. One other thing about installing Cisco Finesse is that you must configure DNS server properly. Should you fail to install or configure DNS server with the proper records, then the Finesse login may not work in most cases. So I'm going to show you first with the DNS, and then I'm going to show you how to install on a VMware. So the first thing we're going to do is log into our Active Directory. Alright, so we will go to the DNS manager, and in the DNS manager you must have your domain name, your Active Directory domain name, of course. And of course, for each Finesse server, we're going to have our two type of record. A record, which is your host record, or PTR record or reverse records. Now, in order for the reverse lookup to work, first of all, on your reverse lookup folder, you must have a inverse IP address of your network. So this is one that I have right there. If you're not sure how to do it, you can always look up the YouTube for reverse DNS, and it will give you some information. Now, having said that, I have 4 Finesse server that in my cluster. We have one for India Finesse server primary server. Then we have India backup Finesse server. We have US Finesse server primary and US Finesse server backup. Now, all of them have an IP address configured. So whatever the name you decide is up to you, of course, and your domain name and IP address. Now, what's important here is that by selecting PTR record, now this is an update, obviously, because I've already created one for you. However, if you want to recreate yourself with something, let's say call it FN, and you want to assign an IP address, for example, and then you want to say create PTR record. Now, create PTR record will only work. This should be only work if you have already configured the reverse DNS entry. Otherwise, of course, it does not know where to go and create this reverse record for. So that is very important. Now, what we're going to do right now, obviously, we already created. If you look at the name, the host name. So there are 1, 2, and then US site A and site B. Now, on the reverse record, you will see the same thing. You will see these 4 entry that I have for my Finesse servers. Now, to verify whether this is going to work, this is working or not, you can go to your command prompt. And what you want to do, you want to first test the forward lookup zone. So you say ping infna.voicebootcamp.com, and as you can see, it is pointing to the IP address right there, 91. Now, if I take a look at 82, which is my another Finesse, I want to do reverse lookup. So I want to say ping -a 142.64.82, and it's going to return the pinging the host name. So this is a confirmation that your reverse PTR record or reverse record has been configured successfully, and you're now ready to move on to Finesse server. Now, we have 4 Finesse server that we're going to install. So I'm going to start with the India Finesse server. The first thing I'm going to do is make sure the CD-ROM is mounted. Now, the India Finesse server will be handled for the agent from India, or the US Finesse server will deal with the agent from in the US. So in the CD-ROM, we're going to say data store, and this is my Finesse application or ISO files. Make sure it's connected. Now, obviously, this is a little too high of memory for my lab environment. So what I'll do, I'll just reduce it down to 496, 4 gig basically. Now, one other thing you want to do is go to the expand the memory and change this to 0, because obviously I don't have enough memory resources on these servers to occupy all those resources. So I'll go ahead and click OK. So I'm ready to start with that. So let's go and power on. While that is being powered on, let's go and modify the India Finesse server secondary. Again, the same thing, 4096, 0 reservation, CPU. Sometimes putting 0 reservation, the installation may fail, so you want to be very careful on that. So we want to map to the Finesse ISO file and make sure the connect at power on is checked. All right, so you are done with the the secondary server in India. So let's power that on. While that is powering on, let's go and modify the US cluster. So right here, they're all version 11, by the way. Okay, so this was a little too low. May be an issue during the installation. This reservation is already set to 0, and the CD-ROM, I believe, is also mapped. It doesn't look like it, but I'll just double check it anyway. Okay, so again, let's turn this feature on, and now we're going to do this. Now when you repeat this installation or any task over a period of time, obviously you start to get expertise on it. If you're doing it for the first time, be patient. They do take some time, especially in lab environment. You and I may not have the most sophisticated equipment, so sometimes that may be a problem. So we have to rely on whatever we have. So be patient. It does work, and you will see the progress slowly. Okay, so all the servers are turned on. So let me go back to my India Finesse server, and this time what I'm going to do is actually log in to the console. And obviously I hit this part, this is not found, don't really need it. This is only good when you have a CD-ROM or DVD-ROM shipped to you. Now I like to do things multiple at the same time, that way I don't waste time. So I will open the India one. I'll also do the same thing, escape the media, and I'll like flip-flop back and forth. That way I can get step done a little bit ahead. So that's the US primary, and this is going to be the US secondary. So go back to India. So as you can see, still coming up. India secondary is still coming up, US primary coming up, and US secondary is also coming up. Okay, so as you can see, the product that about to be installed is Cisco Finesse server. Okay, so I'm going to select OK. It's going to tell me that right now in the hard drive there's nothing in there, but what I'm about to install is 11.5.1, which is the version that we would like to install. So let's say yes. A wizard setup, initial platform. Okay, so we're going to use the wizard. Basic install. This is India, so we're going to choose a time zone in Asia. Okay, so let's choose New Delhi. Let's see if they have Bangalore. Okay, they don't have Bangalore, so I'm going to choose New Delhi. And they don't have that either. Okay, what I'm going to do is something closest to it. So let's call this Dhaka, which is close to Calcutta. So pretty much similar time zone. All right, so although again, you got the point. So next, we do not want to change anything in MTU. This is very important. You must select India Finesse A. Now again, I forgot the IP address myself. So let's do a reverse DNS. infna.voicebootcamp. No, not from this server. Apologize. From this server, because my laptop is pointing to different DNS server. infna.voicebootcamp.com, and it is 91. So 64.91.244.550 default gateway, and the primary DNS is very important. So it's going to be your DNS Active Directory IP address, and the domain name is voicebootcamp.com. Okay, so this is the administrator for your Finesse admin. Let's call this I don't know, UP India next. All right, so this is your first node? Yes, it is. This is my NTP server address. Your security password, in this case, is voice bootcamp, and this is your web administration password. So first one was operating system, this is the web. All right, we're ready to go in installation. So let's go ahead, and the first one is ready to roll. I will go ahead and complete the second one. And again, these are all repeated process. So at this moment, you can stop the video if you want to. So I'll go radio silent until I finish all the installation. I like to keep all my username and password in a lowercase format for training purposes. Okay, so this is not the first one. This is the IP address of my first primary server. Alright, so I'm going to hold on to this installation right here because it may require the primary to be up. So I'm just going to stop here for the secondary until the primary is completed. So I'll go ahead and start with the US cluster now. This is the secondary US server. Okay, so I'll go ahead and stop here until the primer is installed. Alright, so that's pretty much how you would install Finesse. And once everything is up and running or reboot installed, simply log in to the web browser from the web browser to the IP address of the Finesse server, and you should have Finesse web interface enabled. Alright, so that's pretty much it for this lab. Any customization you will find in the later chapter.